Hi, my name is Shannon Elizabeth, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make the easiest bench ever using an old mattress. You don't have to sew or anything. The only things you need are a staple gun, a drill, and a handsaw. And you can make this bench too. I actually made this bench for my dogs so they can get on to my bed without my help, but I also made it because it's beautiful and I enjoy sitting on it as well. But I have to admit the main reason was for my dogs. So this is Coco. She is 15 years old, blind and diabetic, and has bad hips as well, so can't get onto the bed herself. This is Lola. She's only 5, but is the laziest dog in the world and is a princess, so she demands that we pick her up every time. And this is Margot, also known as Crackhead, Psychopath, and Demon Dog. She definitely doesn't need help getting onto the bed. She literally can jump a 6-foot fence. She actually did and broke her paw once. But the other two really need help. Lola will just cry until we pick her up, and Coco will just stand here doing this until we pick her up and put her on the bed. So I decided to build this bench so they can get up and down freely without my help. This is an old mattress I had to get rid of, and instead of throwing it away, I decided to make it into this bench. And it's a queen memory foam mattress. I decided to keep the width of the mattress to make it feel really grand and big. And then I cut it to 26 inches from the end, and I came up with that number by literally measuring Lola because I want her to be able to use it as a bed as well. And I added a few inches because I also want to be able to lay on it comfortably. So I measured 26 inches from each corner and marked with Sharpie. Then I connected those two dots using something straight so I can get a square cut. And I used a circular saw just because it was quicker and I had it. But if you don't have one, you can just use a handsaw. It actually makes way less of a mess. I actually used a handsaw when I cut the mattress in our camper van, so it definitely works. It just takes a little bit longer. Just cut along the straight line that you made and keep running the handsaw along that straight line until you're all the way through. But if you are using a circular saw, I first cut the top and then the bottom, and then I used a handsaw to cut the rest in between those two. So now I have my bench cut to size, and of course had to try it out to make sure it fits. And then I moved it to the room that it's going to be permanently in. And I wanted to make sure it fit well in the room and the door can open and close easily. So now I can start taking measurements of what I need to make. So I measured the length and width, and I took around 3 to 4 inches off those dimensions, and that will be the dimensions of the plywood base that will support this. And I took those inches off because if you accidentally run into it, your shin doesn't hit the hard wood and instead it hits the cushion. I had this plywood left over from another project, so I cut it using a circular saw to those dimensions, but if I didn't already have this, I would have gone to Home Depot, gotten 3/4 inch plywood, and had the employees cut it to size, so I wouldn't have had to use a saw for this project at all. And I would recommend 3/4 inch plywood because it's a bit thicker and more sturdy. There is a chance if you sit in the middle, it could slouch over time or even crack, so I would recommend getting the thicker stuff for this. So next is making the legs to hold it up. If you want this project to be super easy, you can just buy legs off of Amazon or somewhere else. There are literally tons of legs you can buy for pretty affordable and are super easy to install. You just screw them into the bottom and you're done with the legs. Although I did have extra plywood and paint, so I figured I'd save some money and just use that instead. And I went with this style because I wanted to make it look very grand and modern and almost give the feel as if it's floating. So to make these legs, I essentially just made a box that I screwed into the plywood base. And to make that base, I first got my measurements. I measured the height of the bed because I wanted the height of the bench to be around halfway between the ground and the bed height, so it's an easy step for my dogs. So I figured out that I needed the legs to be 4 inches tall. And then I got the measurements of how wide I wanted the legs to be, and I kind of eyeballed it and decided I was going to make the box around 48 inches by 16 inches. So using my extra plywood, I cut a few pieces at 4 inches, and then using my crosscut sled, I cut 2 pieces to 14 inches long, and then I cut 2 pieces at 48 inches long. And if you want to copy these exact legs, you don't have to have a table saw. You can ask the people at Home Depot to cut it for you. And you would need to ask them to cut 2 pieces at 14 by 4 inches and 2 pieces at 48 inches by 4 inches. And you can also use a miter saw to cut these. So here I'm drilling pocket holes, and these are what pocket holes are. They pretty much allow you to screw from the inside so you can't see the screws from the outside. And this step isn't necessary. If you don't have a pocket hole jig, don't worry, don't go buy one. I just have one, so I'm going to use it. Without pocket holes, you just screw the screws in through the wood from the outside into the other piece of the wood, and then you can cover those screws later with paint. And also you will need L brackets if you don't have pocket holes so you can attach this box to the plywood base later. But if you do want to use pocket holes, put pocket holes on both ends of the inside of both shorter pieces, and then you also put pocket holes on the inside facing up, which is how I will attach the box to the plywood base later. So it essentially will look like this once you're done with it. So next, I sanded all of these pieces, and I used my orbital sander, but you can just sand it by hand as well. And sanding the wood makes the wood smooth so that you don't get splinters when you run your hand across it, and it also makes the paint stick better. You should especially sand if you are trying to get a smooth, glossy finish. So I sanded all pieces with 60 grit sandpaper and then everything with 120 grit paper. The lower the number of grit, the rougher it is. And you always start with the lowest number, aka the roughest grit paper, and then you work your way up to the highest, aka the smoothest grit paper, so that you end up with a smooth finish. So finished sanding and then started assembling my box. I used wood glue and screwed pocket hole screws into those pocket holes I drilled earlier, and I did this until my box was fully assembled. Then I used wood filler to fill in the seams between the pieces of wood. This isn't necessary, I just wanted a seamless finish and wanted the base to almost look like metal. And if you didn't use pocket holes, you can use wood filler to fill where you put the screws in if you want. And then I let that dry and then lightly sanded those areas where I put the wood filler to make it nice and smooth. Next, I started priming, and priming helps keep the grain of the wood from eventually showing through, and it also helps the paint stick better, and you can use less coats of paint. So I primed everything and then let that dry, and then I came back and painted the outside with this black paint that I had left over from another project, and I did 2 coats of this just on the outside since I was running out of paint, and then I let that sit, and once that finished drying, I brought it inside, so now I can work on the rest of my bench. For the fabric on top, I went to Joann's Fabric and bought this green suede-like velvety fabric. I'm not really sure what it is, but this is what I got. So I laid out a clean sheet on the ground to protect the fabric and then laid my fabric on top of that so I could iron it so there won't be any fold lines on it when it's all done. And you know those different temperature modes on the iron for the different fabrics? Apparently they're there for a reason. I put the iron on at the hottest setting and thinking it would just iron faster, but it actually literally melted the fabric and now it forever looks like this. So don't follow what I did. But anyways, I laid out everything so I could plan how I was going to do this while avoiding the burnt mark as much as possible. And I found that the easiest way to do this was to attach one side first. So I used a staple gun and stapled the fabric to the wood along the whole side. Then I put my mattress in place so I can attach the legs to the base. And when you do this, make sure it is centered and straight when you attach it. And I attached the legs to the base using pocket hole screws. And if you didn't use pocket holes, this is where you could use the L brackets to attach it. And I attached the legs at this point because I didn't want to accidentally staple the fabric where the legs were supposed to be. And now that the legs are attached, I can start attaching the opposite side. And I started that by pulling the center tight and stapling the middle, and then working my way out towards the end, stapling as I go. Then I switched to the short sides, and once again, I pulled the middle as tight as I could and stapled in the middle, and worked my way slowly towards the corner, stapling again along the way. I left the corners loose so that I could flip it over and see how it looked and make sure that there wasn't any creases or any loose areas that I needed to pull tight. And of course, I had to try it out. Then took a break for second dinner, then back to work. So I played around with the corners a lot to figure out what I liked best, and I watched a whole bunch of different YouTube videos of different ways to fold corners. This took me a while of messing around with the corners to figure out what I liked, and then I realized I stapled the sides too close to the corner, not giving me enough space to fold it how I liked it. So I would recommend having a flathead screwdriver or a chisel handy so you can pull out those staples if you need to. And eventually I found out that I liked this method the most, where I pulled the corner in tight first and then folded the rest around that corner. And while doing this, I would cut the excess fabric that would get in the way of me folding it and stapling it to the wood. And I like this method the most because it is a mattress cut in half, so the corners are really sharp. So pulling the corner in first allows me to create this rounded edge like this instead of this sharp corner like this. So go with whatever you like most. And once I got a corner stapled in, I would make sure that the area around the corner was nice and tight. So I did have to take out a few staples here and re-staple it tighter. So I got the area around the corner laying flat, and then I went back to the corner, and you can see here I'm kind of just playing around and finding what I like most, and then put a ton of staples in here because it's really thick here at the corner, and so it's super secure and the fabric won't fall off accidentally. So here's what stapling in a corner looks like again. Pulled the corner in tight again and stapled that in place, and then kind of just folded everything around until I figured out where I liked it, and then stapled it in place once I found a place where I liked it. And then just cut the excess fabric off that was getting in the way. Finished securing that corner down with staples, and then I went around the whole bottom looking for any part that wasn't laying flat and added some staples there to secure it. And then I cut off all the excess fabric everywhere, and now we are completely done with this bench. Was super excited, so I put it in my room immediately to see how it looks, and I absolutely love it. It's super chic and grand, and I think my dogs like it even more than I do, actually. That's my good girl. And it didn't take long for Coco to learn how to use it.
Good, Coco. Okay, come on. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Good, Coco. Good, Coco. Go. Come on, Coco. Come on. Good, Coco. That's a good girl, Coco. You can do it. Come on, Coco. Come on. Oh, good girls. That's a good Coco. Oh, good girl, Coco. Are you guys just the cutest? Oh, you're the cutest, Coco. Yeah, you're just the cutest, aren't you, Coco?
So I can definitely say that this bench was a hit with the dogs. And now when I come into my room, Coco will already be on the bed. She absolutely loves laying on my bed, and now she can just let herself up whenever she wants. And it looks beautiful and like it's meant to be there. It doesn't look like some cheap, ugly dog step. My original plan was to bring it to my new house since my boyfriend just did buy a house that we're renovating. This is my parents' house, by the way. But the dogs ended up liking it so much that I decided to keep it there permanently, and maybe I'll make another one for the new house.
Here you go, Coco. It's right here. Good girl, Coco. Here you go. Oh, that's my good girls, my beautiful girls.
And now I can work in bed without having to get up every other minute to help one of the dogs in or out of the bed. So I'm super happy with this bench. It helps the dogs, it helps me, and it looks amazing. So thank you so much for watching, and like and subscribe if you did like this video, and comment down below if there's anything else you would like to see me build, design, or create.